OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. Streaming live from the SUNY Old Westbury campus in Old Westbury, New York.
And welcome everybody to another episode of Dave Talk Sports. I am, of course, your host, Dave Ettinger, here on Dave Talk Sports, only on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. Of course, you can find us on Twitter at OWWRNY, on our website, OWWRNY.org, and you can find me personally on DaveTalkSports.com, Twitter at Dave Ettinger2, and of course you can call me here at Old Westbury. Of course, call me up. I want to talk to you. 516-876-4964. That's right, 516-876-4964 if you want to talk to me, Dave Ettinger. And let's get started. We're talking about the Knicks tonight. I know, we talk about the Knicks pretty much every night, but they're in the news again. So we're talking about them. And let me tell you, this is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one because I'm losing it. I'm starting to lose it, but we'll get there. Talking Home Run Derby, of course, is going to be on later this evening, coming up at 8 p.m. on ESPN. And we're going to talk Wimbledon and some tennis, some interesting things, an unbelievable match today. If you weren't too busy working, and you got a chance to catch this match, you saw a great match in the round of 16 today in Wimbledon. We're gonna get there. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. You got to stick around. You got to listen to the whole show because I'm gonna get there. Don't worry. Just relax. We'll get there. So sit back, relax. Just enjoy another episode of Dave Talk Sports. So here we go. I told you we're gonna start with the Knicks, and I'm only 31, but I have gray hairs. I'm getting gray hairs from the Knicks. I mean, it's just a basketball team, but I'm working on some gray hairs here. So what have they been up to lately? We haven't spoken since last Monday, July the 3rd. So we actually all enjoyed a July 4th since I've been here last. So how was everybody's July 4th? I hope it was as good as mine. It was my dog Jordan's birthday, and that's my son. That's Jordan. I love him. He turned 4 on July 4th, had an amazing day. Guy ate everything he could possibly imagine. I mean, he got some fresh meat off the grill. I mean, what's better than that? A little carne asada. How you doing? I know. I pretend to be Italian a lot because I'd love to have an Italian accent for like a week. I'm just going to borrow it, and don't get offended. I'll give it back. I know I don't do a good job with it, so I want a real one. Anyway, just put up with my Italian accent because it comes out every once in a while, even though I'm really, really bad at it. But no, my dog Jordan had an amazing birthday on July 4th. I hope everyone enjoyed a safe 4th. We're going to talk about couple characters later on in the show as well who it put safety to the side when it came to July 4th, maybe some fireworks happening. We'll get to that as well. So again, stay tuned. Of course, we're here on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. I'm Dave Ettinger. This is Dave Talk Sports. All right, so the Knicks. Last we spoke, they hadn't really done anything in free agency. And I was kind of on board with that. I mean, just like the Jets, full tank mode. Let's go in full tank mode. We're gonna save once they relinquished, the rights to Derrick Rose. They were gonna save upwards of $21 to $22 million in cap space. They were gonna try to trade Carmelo Anthony, which as much as I like Carmelo Anthony, I like him as much as the next guy. Okay, but it's time to move on. We can't rebuild and keep Carmelo Anthony. They don't coincide. They don't work together. They really don't. So we were going to do that. We were going to build around Kristaps Porzingis, Willie Hernangomez, and hopefully our latest draft pick, Frank Ntilikina. I hope you're catching on with that name. I'm trying to help you out with the pronunciation. I give it to you almost every week. You'll get there. You'll get there. It's tough for everybody. So we're hoping to build around this core. And they're all young. I mean, they're all 21, 22 or younger. And that's the way you want to build. You got to build through the draft. But the problem is, as we've seen and I've spoken about, they literally cannot build through free agency. I mean, the image before Phil Jackson was so bad, and he somehow figured out how to make it worse. Again, thank you, Phil Jackson. enjoy counting your, $60 million that you robbed the Knicks of. Thank you very much. But we're done with you. We're not talking about Phil Jackson anymore. Enjoy the beach. All right. So the Knicks. You probably heard, because it happened a couple of days ago, Tim Hardaway Jr. Yes, the Tim Hardaway Jr., who we drafted. The Knicks drafted a couple of years ago, late first-round pick. We're bringing him back. Okay, I'd be okay with that if we were bringing him back for a reasonable amount. But we're not. We're bringing him back at 4 years, $71 million. Those are cars crashing on the side of the road right now. Because for the people who haven't heard about it yet, they just veered off the road, and I hope I didn't get anyone in too serious of an accident. But who could drive straight down the road with your hands at 10 and 2 when you just hear Tim Hardaway Jr., 4 years, $71 million, almost 18 per. I mean, this is what the Knicks just spent all their cap space on. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna spend a long time talking about this because it's unbelievably ridiculous. And who's making these decisions? Who's the GM? Who's the president? Steve Mills? Steve Mills has shown us, anyone following the Knicks or the NBA, Steve Mills doesn't know how to make personnel decisions. He's done nothing positive for the New York Knicks, but be James Dolan's right-hand man. And I, for one, have seen enough of Steve Mills. So they talk about bringing in a new GM, a new general manager. And when you do that, when you bring in a general manager or you bring in a new president of basketball operations, guess what happens? It's not rocket science. You bring in your own guys with you. I know, what a revelation. It's unbelievable. Wait, you hire me to run the team, but you want me to run it with a coach I didn't pick, with a president who's going to work above me, even though I'm coming in and I want to make decisions? Okay, so it's mind-boggling to me. So, all right, so Steve Mills and James Dolan, they sat down with former general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers, David Griffin. I mean, one of the biggest and brightest and best names out there in terms of a general manager. And you meet with him on Friday. Today is Monday. So somehow, between Friday and Sunday, David Griffin managed to make an about face, probably still when he was in the Garden, and say, you know what, this is not going to work. So why did David Griffin pull his name out of consideration? Well, we're going to listen to Ian Begley right now give us a brief explanation on why David Griffin pulled his name out of consideration to be the general manager of the New York Knicks. Listen in.
Well, it came down to autonomy on basketball decisions, and for David Griffin, it was his ability to hire his own staff here, and that's according to our Adrian Wojnarowski. You know, Steve Mills is in place for the Knicks right now, and I'm told that Steve wanted to continue to make basketball decisions, to have a say in basketball decisions here in New York, and David Griffin wasn't into that. He wanted full autonomy. He wanted the final say on basketball decisions. That was one of these sticking points here. And the other one was, you know, Steve Mills has a staff under him, and David Griffin wanted the freedom to bring his own guys in, which is what happens when a GM or president comes in from the outside. But the Knicks kind of pushed back on that. They weren't willing to let Griffin get everyone out that's in the front office right now in New York and bring in his own guys, and that's why you see what you saw today with Griffin pulling his name out of consideration.
Just like I said, when you want to hire a new general manager, newsflash, he gets to bring in his own guys and make decisions. That's why you're hiring him. That's why you pay him, you know, like you paid Phil $12 million. But that's why you pay a general manager, so he can wipe the slate clean and start fresh. You can't force a coach on him. You can't force players on him. I mean, they're all, you know, in the middle of contracts for the most part. So he's got to deal with who's there and then kind of turn it over if he needs to. But how are you going to force things on him and then say, oh, by the way, you're not going to make all the decisions around here. You know, Steve Mills is going to hover. He's going to hover over your shoulder. Yeah, good luck working like that. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. All right, so the next natural progression in questioning from the very same interview, that was Ian Begley, you know, reporting on ESPN, on behalf of the Knicks. So the next question is, naturally, who can they hire? If they're not hiring or getting Ujiri, the president from the Toronto Raptors, and they're not getting David Griffin, Ian Begley, who are they going to hire?
Well, here's the thing with the Knicks right now. There's no one out there outside of David Griffin that they could bring in that's a big established name that they wouldn't have to give up compensation for. That was the issue with Masai Ujiri. That would be the issue with, let's say, a Sam Presti in Oklahoma City or an R.C. Buford in San Antonio. They would have to give up compensation likely in the form of first-round picks to pry these guys out of their current deals. And they're not willing to do that right now because they know where they are. They're a rebuilding team, and they know the value of those first-round picks. So they're kind of stuck right now. And it seems like for right now and for the foreseeable future, possibly into the season and throughout this season, Steve Mills will be running the show.
Oh, yay. Yay. Steve Mills is making decisions for the New York Knicks. Yeah, how's that worked out so far? So, as you heard Ian Begley say, there's nobody left. There's nobody left. I mean, there's no reputable name with experience. And listen, I'm available. I have a beyond full-time job. And I do this, in my spare time. But, James Dolan, you want me to run the Knicks? I'm here. Dave Ettinger. I live in Great Neck. You can find me. I'll take the job. I guarantee you I'll have you in the playoffs in 3 years, minimum. And I guarantee you I'll bring you a championship in the next 6 to 8 years. It's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. Come on. So, like you heard Ian Begley say, to get anyone real right now, like the Sam Prestis of the world, the Ujiris from the Raptors, who they've already moved on from, you need to give up compensation. So now I'm trading, if I'm Dolan or whoever, I'm now trading draft picks just to get a general manager. Okay, so Ian Begley says, no, they're a rebuilding team. They know that they can't give away picks. Well, all the Knicks have done for the last 15, 20 years is give away picks. Literally, outside of drafting Porzingis and Hernan Gomez, the only thing you can say that Phil Jackson did well was not give away picks, which I applaud. Okay, but that's the only way at this current moment, today, July 10th, 6:27 in the p.m., that's where we are right now. The New York Knicks can't get a real general manager. One, if they're not going to give up control and send Steve Mills packing. Let James Dolan say, here, I'm getting a new GM. I'm going to wipe the slate clean. That's not happening unless you're giving up draft picks to get a real guy. So otherwise, you're going to end up with Steve Mills making decisions for the foreseeable future, or you're going to get some completely inexperienced guy. And if he's not named Dave Ettinger, he's not going to do a good job. So I don't know what direction the Knicks are heading in. And Gordon Damer ran a great bit on ESPN Radio. If you caught it, I believe it was yesterday afternoon. I mean, it was brilliant. I got to give him credit. I mean, he was having people call in. It was a great bit for radio. And he had an imaginary wheel. And he said, spin the wheel. I got all the teams lined up in the NBA. So whatever team this wheel lands on, boom, you're a fan of them. You're no longer a fan of the Knicks. Because if you continue a fan of the Knicks, you're either going to rip all your hair out or worse. I don't know. So I'm hanging on by a thread. And even though they're not going to hire me, here's my advice. Here's my advice for the Knicks. Even after signing Tim Hardaway Jr., because he's only 25 years old, blah, 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 you still can right the ship. Okay? You can't get a real general manager at this point. So we need to cross our fingers with someone who's inexperienced, because you cannot give away draft picks to bring in a general manager. But whoever's making decisions, yes, you have the mid-level exception to bring in a player for $8.4 million this year. Don't do it. You also have the $3.2 million biannual exception to bring in another player. Don't do it. And you have a whopping $2.2 million in salary cap space for the soft cap of $99 million. Don't do that either. Go with the roster as is. The decisions you need to make right before the season or entering the season, are trade Carmelo Anthony. I've been saying it for weeks. Trade him for as much as you can get. He finally opened the door and he said, hey guys, by the way, I'm willing to go. I'm willing to move to Houston. Who wants to live in Houston? No offense, guys. You got a good baseball team this year. We'll get there too. Or Cleveland. And who wants to live in Cleveland outside of LeBron James? Probably nobody. No offense, everybody. But he's going to leave New York City to compete for a championship because everyone wants to win. So he finally opened the door and said, hey guys, I'm ready to go. Please trade me. And we're still not trading the guy. You can't rebuild with a Carmelo Anthony. So what they need to do is they need to buy out Joakim Noah. They're talking about buying out Melo. No. Buy out Joakim Noah. You can spread the rest of the money that he's owed, the atrocious $54 million, the 3 years, $54 million he's still owed. You can spread that out over 7 years, so the salary cap hit is less each year going forward. Frees up some space going forward, right? You still don't have a real point guard. Don't bring one in this year. You're talking about getting a mentor for Frank Ntilikina. That's fine. But there's nobody out there who fits that role right now. You missed out on all the decent point guards who can fit that role. So honestly, you have to ride it out. You're going to let guys like Tim Hardaway, Courtney Lee, and Ntilikina handle the ball right now. Melo can bring it up every once in a while, but there's nobody else. There's nobody else who can handle the ball, and you don't have a true point guard. And as you know, this league doesn't work with a triangle. It works with pick and roll, high pick and roll, point guards. There are no centers. High pick and roll. Everybody spreads the floor. Everybody shoots. Nobody plays defense. You've been watching the NBA for the last 7 years. You know all this. So the Knicks need to tear that down. I wish they tore it down before they signed Tim Hardaway Jr., but this is where we are right now. So they need to tear it down. A team that's not tearing it down, they're only building and moving for the future, the Boston Celtics. Oh, how I loathe the Boston. But I gotta applaud them. Gotta applaud them for getting Gordon Hayward to come sign in Boston. Now, they didn't work out a sign and trade, with the Utah Jazz where he was or where he was coming from. But they made an amazing signing in Gordon Hayward. The only problem is they had to make cap space to officially sign Gordon Hayward. So they went through their roster of possibilities. So names surfaced like Avery Bradley, Marcus Smart, and Jay Crowder. These are the three guys with some salary that they could shed to fit Gordon Hayward on the roster. Gordon Hayward, by the way, signing a 4-year, $128 million contract. Who wants to make $32 million a year to play a game, to play a sport? I raised my hand. I do. Okay. This is NBA money. And we'll get right back to the Celtics and the Jazz and the move that they made. Talking about money, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up James Harden, the beard, with the contract extension for the ages. Contract extension longer than his beard. So he got extended early. Wasn't necessary at this point, but they did it anyway because they wanted to lock him up. I guess they assumed the salary cap was going to go up, even more. So these deals will look a little bit better in a couple of years. So James Harden signs a 4-year extension for an extra $170 million, bringing his total contract through the 22-23 season. This is 2017, but we're talking about 22-23 already. I can't believe we're approaching 2020. I mean, where are the flying cars already? Come on. $228 million total till 22-23. I mean, we know they make a lot of money, but come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, spread the wealth. Can I get a little love for the teachers out there? Not just in New York, but everywhere. I mean, let's figure out these salaries. And I know. I preach all the time. It's its own reality, which it is. The NBA is its own reality. It's Monopoly money. I mean, I used to love that game, Monopoly. I used to take Grandma down at the kitchen table. I mean, she thought she could take me, but give me the board, walk in the park place. I got you. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. Grandma, gotta put you in jail. Sorry. I used to dominate that game against my family. They're listening right now. They know what I'm talking about. Don't try to play Ed. My older brother Ed, he knows what I'm talking about. I used to dominate the board games. Anyway, it's Monopoly money. It's Monopoly money. It's ridiculous. All right, back to Hayward, back to the Celtics. So we're talking Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, Marcus Smart, who's got to go. I'm a big fan of actually all three of these players. Marcus Smart, a nice, tough, defensive-minded point guard, has been a backup point guard, could probably start around the league. Jay Crowder, big, strong, small forward who kind of does a little bit of everything. He's a nice guy to have. And Avery Bradley was seen as a defensive guy who really, really, really stepped up his defense. Stepped up his offense. He's a defensive-minded guy, just like kind of Jimmy Butler stepped up his offensive game. Avery Bradley has become a better I'm not going to say one of the best, but he's become a very solid two-way player over the last couple of years. Here's the deal, though. This is why this made sense to move Avery Bradley, which they did. To make cap space for Gordon Hayward's $128 million, the Celtics moved Avery Bradley to the Detroit Pistons and a second-round pick to the Detroit Pistons for Marcus Morris. Okay, it doesn't sound fair on paper, and you like Avery Bradley. Okay, so you hear it, and on the surface you say, this is not a great deal. Okay, Hayward's better than Bradley, but you're losing a good player? Yes. All right, Avery Bradley and Isaiah Thomas are both going to be free agents at the end of this upcoming season. The money's the money, the salary cap, the hard salary cap of $119 million, the caps exist. So you have to deal with them. So they just made a decision right now for next year. They made a decision now for the future. They made a decision, Avery Bradley, Isaiah Thomas. That's the decision they just made. They didn't make a decision of, am I trading Avery Bradley or not because I like him? No, I'm sure they love him. He's a great player. He's a very good player. They made a decision of who am I going to pay in a year? Isaiah Thomas, top 5 or 6 probably finisher in the MVP this past season, or Avery Bradley. So they made the decision to get him and a second pick shipped out of town for Marcus Morris, which is not a bad return for Avery Bradley, 1. And 2, again, Avery Bradley was probably going to be gone next year anyway. So it's just like shipping out Paul George and all the guys who have expiring contracts. You're getting Marcus Morris. The second round pick is essentially nothing. So Avery Bradley for Marcus Morris, and a guy you had to move anyway. And the Celtics can use some big man depth, which is what Marcus Morris is, a little scoring and a little rebounding. Now, a guy who could probably do some rebounding in the NBA is my boy Aaron Judge. And you know what he's doing later tonight. He's ripping the covers off of baseballs because he's performing after 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN in the Home Run Derby. So we're going to come right back. We're going to get into the Home Run Derby and all that we know about Aaron Judge so far, which is unbelievable. So you're here listening to Dave Talk Sports. I'm Dave Ettinger on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is DJ Sanjay from The Sleepy Show, and Friday, July 14th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., I have an exclusive interview with upcoming singer-songwriter on the rise, Long Island's own Jillian Steele.
Hey, this is Jillian Steele.
We chatted with Jillian right before her debut at the Paramount in Huntington, New York, opening for Hunter Hayes. We got to meet the star on the rise and spoke about her brand new EP called Find Me. All the action is happening Friday, July 14th, only on The Sleepy Show on Old Westbury Web Radio.
I won't be your property. Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned today?
Come on, this way.
Puedes encontrar aventuras en cualquier parte, pero el mejor lugar para iniciar la búsqueda está en el bosque.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Sal a descubrir animales increíbles.
Wow.
Hermosas plantas y árboles que se unen para crear una aventura inolvidable. Así que ven con tus seres queridos a explorar un mundo de posibilidades. Visita descubreelbosque.org para encontrar el bosque o parque más cercano. Patrocinado por el Ad Council y el Servicio Forestal de los Estados Unidos.
Way down inside, honey, you need it. I'm gonna give you my love.
Oh, that's right. We're taking it way back with that joint. We're taking it back with Led Zeppelin. Of course, that's Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. I gotta call it out for you. Love that song. Anyway, here we are. OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. Dave Talk Sports. I'm Dave Ettinger. You can find us on Twitter, OWWRNY, on the website, OWWRNY.org, my website, DaveTalksSports.com, and you can find me on Twitter. Just embarrassing all the real life journalists out there. They know who they are. At Dave Ettinger, too. That's where I am on Twitter. Find me, talk to me. Let's get it going. You can also call me here, 516-876-4964. You got an opinion? Pick up the phone. Call in. I'm going to put you on the air. 516-876-4964. I may embarrass you as well, but that's okay. You're going to give it your best shot. Aaron Judge is going to give it his best shot tonight in the home run derby. I can't wait. I'm tuning in pretty much just for him. Aaron Judge... can't get tired of talking of him. I mean, this guy, he's 6'7", 6'8". I really think he's like 7'6". He's like the George Murison Minute Bull height, but they calling him 6'7". All right, he's 25 years old. All right, so he's got a bright future ahead of him. Last year he came up for part of the year. He struggled a little bit. And that's something that he reminds himself of. He actually, in his phone, in his notes in his phone, has his last year's batting average typed into his phone as a reminder of the struggles that can happen in Major League Baseball. And he's really put that behind him. I mean, he's still striking out at a decent clip, but that's okay. I'll take the 100 strikeouts, 100-plus strikeouts in 86 games they've played so far. I'm going to take those. He's played in 84 of them. I'm going to take those 100-plus strikeouts when the guy is hitting .329 with 30 home runs and 66 RBIs. He's also mixed in 6 stolen bases, by the way. It's sneaky speed. And he's playing pretty nice glove out there in right field. Occasionally he'll DH, but for the most part he's playing out there every day in right field. He's played in 84 out of 86 games. He's young. I know Girardi likes to rest the players, but let him play. He's 25 years old. What's he got to do? He doesn't need the rest. He's good. Let him rip. So we'll get more into his first half of the season and how impressive it's been. But the Home Run Derby, that's what's on tonight. It starts at 8 p.m. on ESPN. So they've set up the Home Run Derby in a little bit of a different format. I know they've bounced around a bunch of different formats in the past, and I think they finally landed on one that not only do I like, but I think most people are going to enjoy. It's they took a playbook out of, pretty much every sport, but who doesn't love March Madness? College basketball, March, spring's out, flowers are out. You love it, right? Baseball season's coming up, but, March Madness is great. You're one and done, right? Bracket format. Well, that's what they brought to the Home Run Derby. They brought a little bracket. They brought the 8 competitors, and they ranked them. So, of course, the defending champion, Giancarlo Stanton, another mountain of a man. This guy is 17 feet tall or something ridiculous. He's batting in his home park tonight, Marlins Park, where the Miami Marlins play. He's the 1 seed, taking on the other baby bomber who's been, a little overshadowed. I've mentioned it in the past. A little overshadowed by Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, the catcher, missed nearly a month, but still has 13 home runs. I know Logan Morrison. I know you're out there listening. I know you're not happy about this, but Gary Sanchez is people want to see Gary Sanchez hit home runs because people know who the Yankees are. They don't know who the Tampa Bay Rays are. So Logan Morrison, even though you're killing it for my fantasy baseball team, shut your mouth. All right? Yes, Logan Morrison has 24 home runs and he's hitting 257 or something. But nobody really knows who Logan Morrison is. And, hi, Home Run Derby, everyone's watching. It's Monday night, even though I think it's ridiculous that it's on Monday night. It's the only thing on TV. So people want to see the names or the people who have completely broken out this season and are headlines in Major League Baseball. And I'm sorry, Logan Morrison, you're not it. So, without further ado, here's the brackets. And I even filled them out for you. I'm doing you a favor. So you still got time to get to the, to the betting polls. Take this info, book it, right? You want to make some money tonight, book it. All right, the number 1 seed, like I mentioned, Giancarlo Stanton versus the 8 seed New York Yankees catcher, Gary Sanchez. In the bottom of this bracket, you have Mike Moustakas of the Kansas City Royals as the 4 seed, and Miguel Sano, who most people may not know, but he's a young, up-and-coming player who's hitting bombs for the Minnesota Twins. On the other side, the 2 seed, as we've mentioned, the aforementioned, Aaron Judge versus the 7 seed, Justin Bour. Also, again, sorry, Logan Morrison, I know no one's heard of Justin Bour either, but Logan, where's the Home Run Derby? Where's the game being played? Marlins Park in Miami. Who does Justin Bour play for? The Miami Marlins. That's why he's there. The 3 seed on the bottom of that bracket, Cody Bellinger. Talked about him last week, hitting home runs at a phenomenal clip. In the running, could be the Rookie of the Year. We'll see how the rest of the season goes in the National League, but a rookie hitting bombs for the LA Dodgers. And Charlie Blackmon bringing it in at the 4 seed. He'll take on Bellinger in the first round there. Charlie Blackmon of the Colorado Rockies. Maybe his power is a little inflated for playing at Coors Field. Most guys are, but we'll see. We'll see. So I filled it out for you. I told you, I can't leave you hanging here. Here are the results, right? As I see them. But this is going to happen this way. Giancarlo Stanton going to mop the floor with my boy. Yeah, he's a Yankee. I love him. Gary Sanchez, I'm sorry. You're great. You don't have a chance against Giancarlo Stanton. Going to move on. 1 beating an 8 seed. No surprise there. Now, Mike Moustakas, you might be a slight favorite over Miguel Sano at the 4 seed. But you don't have a chance against Sano. Most people don't know who Sano is. He's got a chance here tonight. So there's the sleeper, if there is one, in the Home Run Derby is Miguel Sano. I'm not calling the upset, but I'm not going to be surprised at all if he takes on Giancarlo Stanton in the second round of the Home Run Derby, which is who he'll face. On the other side, Aaron Judge is going to pass on just easily. You are going to check out Justin Bour, who's got forearms with the size of my freaking legs here. And the guy, you know what I like about Justin Bour? He brings it back. He brings it back to the old days where they just spit on their hands. They had some pine tar maybe, and they just picked up the bat and they just gave it a hack. Dave Kingman style. Just hitting bombs. Guy doesn't wear batting gloves. Just, that's how he bats. You're going to see it tonight. He doesn't have a chance, though. I'm sorry. Aaron Judge is going to put on an absolute show tonight, and he's going to mop the floor with you in the first round, Justin Bour. Sorry. Keep just chopping down trees with those whatever you call those forearms you got. Cody Bellinger, this is going to be a close one because most people, again, don't really know Charlie Blackmon out in Colorado, but he's a nice little player. That's going to be tough, but I got Cody Bellinger, just too hot of a name right now. You'll take on Aaron Judge in the second round. I think Judge has an easy time with this one also. He's going to move right into the finals. And again, Miguel Sano might be the upset story here in the Home Run Derby, but it's going to be Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins versus Aaron Judge of the Yankees in the finals of the Home Run Derby tonight. Hopefully my eyeballs are still open by the time the final round ends. Usually I'm passed out on the couch and I got to watch the replays at 4 in the morning when I go to work, but we'll see. And the winner, Aaron Judge. Yeah, I know you saw that coming. It's not because I'm a Yankees fan, because I'm always objective. It's because Aaron Judge is barely a human being. No offense, Aaron Judge, but you're a freak of nature. You're the size of this room that I'm sitting in. I mean, you'd be breaking the lights in the ceiling right now. He's going to win. He's going to put on an absolute show. Home run derby's back, a la, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa belting home runs over the Green Monster in Fenway so many years ago. Feels like 20 years ago already at this point. That's what I see tonight. All right, real quick on the All-Star game itself. Tuesday night, again, who's keeping their eyes open to watch this game? That doesn't really matter. I'm going to give it my all, and I'm definitely going to watch the beginning of the game, because here's the pitching matchup to start the game. How long they stay in, if it's an inning, 2 or 3. Chris Sale, electrifying lefty from the Boston Red Sox. One of the reasons the Boston Red Sox are in first in the American League East. Hurts my soul down to my core to say that out loud, but yes, the Boston Red Sox are leading the American League East at the All-Star break, and in large part to Chris Sale and his pitching. And he's going to face Max Scherzer. Just pitching lights out again this year. They both strike guys out at an amazing clip, and he's pitching for the first place Washington Nationals in the NL East. No surprise there. So I hope that they stay in for like 3 or 4 innings, because that's going to be fun to watch. Right? That's all I got to say about the All-Star game, really. It's, it's kind of turning back to what it should be. It's entertaining. Every team still has to have a representative, which is a problem. But at least this game doesn't determine home field in the World Series. Think about that. I mean, up until this year, for the last, handful of years, the World Series was determined by, home field advantage in the World Series was determined by the winner of the All-Star game, a game that's voted on by the fans and others. And, they tell you every team has to have a representative, but the game matters. I mean, so at least they've done away with that. All right, so we're going to see this game. We're going to watch it. It's going to be fun. The players who are slumping heading into the All-Star break are going to get a much-needed break. The players who are playing hot, like the Aaron Judges of the world, we're going to see what this break does to their game. Right? So sometimes, people also like to say the home run derby is going to mess with your swing, mess with your game. I don't buy any of that. I just think that Aaron Judge, as I read you his statistics earlier, through 84 games for himself and 86 for the Yankees, he's hitting .329 with 30 home runs and 66 RBIs and 6 stolen bases. And that's 30 home runs. Forget the first half. I mean, he's only the second player in Major League history, second to Mark McGwire, who, knows a little bit about hitting home runs. He's only the second player to have 30 home runs by the All-Star break. Ever. Yeah, it reminds me of the Sandlot. Forever. Yeah, ever. Mark McGwire, Aaron Judge, only 2 guys in Major League Baseball history to have 30 home runs before the All-Star break. And those 30 home runs mean something more. When he hit his 30th home run the other day, he landed in first place on the Yankees rookie home run record. And you know who held that record prior to that? Joe DiMaggio. That's pretty good company. Joe DiMaggio, back in 1936. Only took 81 years for this record to be broken with all the great Yankees. Think about that. With all the all-time Yankees that you've seen in the last 81 years. The Mantles, the Marises, you name them. I could go on and on. Nobody has hit more home runs as a rookie than Aaron Judge. So DiMaggio hit 29 home runs in 1936. 81 years later, in 2017, Aaron Judge hits 30 home runs, and it only took him 84 games to do it. It's unbelievable. So will he regress slightly or a decent amount in the second half? Yeah, he probably will. I mean, it's only realistic, right? I mean, you can't expect the guy to hit 58, 60 home runs. I mean, so here's the question. How does he keep this unbelievable success or this unbelievable pace that he's on going? And Meredith Marakovich of the Yes Network caught up with Aaron Judge. And it just shows you how humble Aaron Judge, at just 25 years old in his rookie season, is. She asked him, what can you do? What can you really do to continue this success from the first half? So let's see what he had to say.
Just taking everything day by day. That's one thing I've tried to do this year, was just slow the game down and not really try to think about the future or think about my past games, and just take it, what can I do today to help out the team? What can I do in this at-bat, this pitch to help the team? And I feel like if I do that consistently for the rest of the year, I feel like good things will happen, because one good day doesn't make a good month, and a couple good months don't make a good season. So just about consistently going in, putting the work in every day, and just doing your job.
How much are you enjoying all of this?
I love it. I'm blessed to be in this position. Like I said before, we got a good group of guys here, and I'm just blessed to be a consistent part of this team.
I mean, just taking a page out of the playbook of Derek Jeter. I mean, the guy, there's no missteps. He doesn't say anything wrong. He's not on page 6. He's not he's not getting in trouble. Just humble. I mean, she asked him an appropriate question. How can you continue this first half success, this unbelievable pace that you're on? That's an individual, personal question that he could have said, it's all about me and my swing and my timing and my technique and all the things that I can do to try to hit 60 or 62 or however many home runs for the rest of the year. No, he says, I want to do whatever I can do to make my team better. Not just me, which is all we hear in sports and today's society. Selfish. It's not about that. Some guys, they just get it. And at 25 years old, I applaud Aaron Judge. And again, I'm not just saying this as a Yankees fan. I'm saying it as a baseball fan, as a fan of just decent human beings. I mean, they're few and far between at this point. But it's nice to see someone who's humble and isn't bragging about himself and isn't just a selfish pig all the time. Lord knows, we got enough of those running around. But there's some surprises out there in Major League Baseball. I mean, Aaron Judge has been the biggest surprise probably of the young MLB season. But we have some teams that are performing at a very surprisingly high level. Right, so the Yankees were one of those teams. I mean, a whole month ago. I mean, they were 15, 16, I think they hit 17 points, games over 500 at one point, but they've regressed. I mean, they've lost like 16 out of their last 24. Yes, Aaron Judge continues to mash. And Gary Sanchez playing pretty well, but their injuries have piled up. We've talked about that. The Yankees are just 45-41 on the season through 86 games. Second in the American League East, 3.5 games back. Their rival, my least favorite team in the history of sports and the history of the world, the Boston Red Sox. And thank God David Ortiz doesn't play baseball anymore. We'd be in real trouble. But if you told me before the season that the Yankees were going to be 45-41, 86 games through the All-Star game, I would have said, hey, someone bring me the contract. Where do I sign? Because that's just better than the roster that's constructed, to start the season. And yes, again, the injuries have not helped. But their starting pitching staff is just not that great. It's just not. And you've seen Michael Pineda regress. Severino's still been pretty good. CC Sabathia was hurt. Tanaka's been, for the most part, terrible. Has had 2 or 3 really good starts. And the rookie Jordan Montgomery has been pretty good. He's been one of the more consistent guys, and he's a rookie. So there's some other surprises, around Major League Baseball. What I found the biggest surprise is the Milwaukee Brewers winning their division at the current moment at 50-41. I mean, their pitching staff is nothing to write home about. I mean, guys like Chase Anderson, Brett Suter. I mean, their closer, Corey Knebel. I mean, you've never heard of these guys, and their lineup is just filled with guys who have a speed and power mix. I mean, everyone knows Ryan Braun, but he's been hurt for a little bit. But guys like Eric Thames started the season at an unbelievable pace, home run hitting pace. Jonathan Villar not having a great season, but still has 8 home runs, like 16 stolen bases. Hernan Perez. I mean, they just have a solid all-around team. They play defense, they run, they hit for power. So they're a surprising team. We'll see what they can do the second half of the year. I don't know if they can keep up the pace, but we'll see. And the other surprise at 45 and 43 are the Minnesota Twins. If you can name more than 3 Minnesota Twins, I'll give you $100. Call me up, 516-876-4964. That's 516-876-4964. Call me up. I'm Dave Ettinger. You're listening to Dave Talk Sports. You can find me on Twitter at Dave Ettinger2. You can find me on my website at DaveTalkSports.com. And the school's Twitter, OWWRNY, or the school's website, OWWRNY.org. But if you can name more than 3 Minnesota Twins, I'll give you $100 on the spot. I'll bring it to your house. I'll drive it to your house. Nobody can. I mean, unless you work for the Twins or you are the Twins players, you can't name 3 Minnesota Twins, and they're 45 and 43, only 2.5 games back in their division. So their season is not over. But you know what's over? This segment. This segment's over. That's right. We got to hit a commercial break real quick. When we get back, we're going to talk about, like I told you off the top, we're talking about one of the best tennis matches you've seen in years. Years. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to tell you about that tennis match right when we get back here. I'm Dave Ettinger on Dave Talk Sports.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. This cat makes me make art. He's always motivating me to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Keyboard Cat, YouTube star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
OWWR is your home for ticket giveaways at the Paramount in Huntington, New York. Make sure you listen to Fishnets and Leather this Monday from 8 to 10 p.m. for your chance to win tickets to go see Better Than Ezra and the Wallflowers. And also ticket giveaways to go and see the band Buck Cherry. That's this Monday on Fishnets and Leather from 8 to 10 p.m. only on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio.
If you want to receive the best sports coverage from the most knowledgeable minds in the business, tune in to OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio.
And welcome back, everybody. This is Dave Ettinger here on Dave Talk Sports. And it's Monday evening, 7 p.m. Where else do you want to be? Where else do you want to be? You still got an hour until the home run derby. You already ate dinner. You're good. You're full. Hopefully you didn't eat too much. I don't want you to get any indigestion here. But where else do you want to be? You want to be here with me. We're talking sports. I'm Dave, and we're talking sports. That's right. Call me up, 516-876-4964. Catch us on Twitter at OWWRNY and on our website at OWWRNY.org. You can find me personally at Dave Ettinger2 on Twitter. And on my website, where I write daily articles of the current sports world and everything that's going on. And every once in a while, we keep it a little different. It's a little unique. I'm giving you my perspective. Not everything that you're going to hear right here. On Old Westbury Web Radio with Dave Ettinger. So you can find me there at DaveTalkSports.com. Now, I told you, we're going to talk about an unbelievable tennis match. I mean, just a tennis match for the ages, right? So, Rafael Nadal. Okay? Rafael Nadal is one of the best tennis players in the world. I mean, I have him ranked as the second best tennis player ever. I mean, right behind Roger Federer, who's still in. He advanced today in Wimbledon. He's in another quarterfinals. I mean, the guy is nearly 100, but he's still cranking out, quarterfinals in Wimbledon. Rafael Nadal played a guy named Gilles Muller. In Wimbledon, he's ranked 16th. But on the ATP Tour, he's ranked number 26. a tall lefty, 6'4", so you had two lefties playing out there today, Mueller versus Nadal. And Mueller's a ripe old 34 years of age. Now, Nadal is 31 at the moment, so not a big age difference. This match was spectacular. Just for starters, they played for 4 hours and 47 minutes. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, for starters. I mean, so you're playing tennis. It's an individual sport, and you're playing for 4 hours and 47 minutes. So, like I said, Federer moved on. Andy Murray also moved on. You know, Venus Williams, she keeps rolling. Another person, and 37 years old, just rolling into another quarterfinals at Wimbledon. It's unbelievable how well the older players are playing. But Rafael Nadal took the court versus Julius Mueller. And Mueller, his best Grand Slam finish up till now, not just in Wimbledon, but in all the Grand Slams, is a quarterfinal finish in the 2008 U.S. Open. So he's a solid player. He's been around for a while. He's ranked in the top 30. You know, but even on grass, you know, you have Rafael Nadal as one of the favorites here. And this match went to a decisive fifth set. Nadal actually dropped the first two sets, 3-6, 4-6. But he bounced back and he won sets 3 and 4, 6-3, 6-4, bringing it to a decisive fifth set. This fifth set took an hour and 31 minutes just for the last set. Because as you know, in Wimbledon, there's no tiebreaker. There's no 7-6 tiebreaker. Win by 2 in the tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker could go on forever, technically, but it doesn't. It takes a couple minutes. There's no tiebreaker in the fifth set in Wimbledon. First to break somebody, break their serve, and then hold serve, and go up 2 games is the winner. So it wasn't 8-6, it wasn't 10-8, it wasn't 12-10, 15-13. I mean, I was supposed to be working, so I hope my bosses aren't listening to this, but I was watching. It was right in the middle of the afternoon. It ran till almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon today. Julius Mueller upsets Rafael Nadal in spectacular fashion, 15-13, matching, again, his best Grand Slam final, now reaching the quarterfinals in Wimbledon. So you know who's happy about this are the Roger Federers, the Novak Djokovic's, and Andy Murray's of the world. So that just means they don't have to take down Rafael Nadal. You know, they don't have to worry about him. They don't have to worry about playing him, you know, at any point during, you know, the rest of this tournament. So now you have some unbelievable stats about what they've called a top 4, you know, of Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Andy Murray. You know, but those streaks are going to be broken this year. I mean, it's unbelievable that in like the last 49 Grand Slams, I mean, they've won 44 of them. I mean, you know, you've had Stan Wawrinka won some, Cilic won one. I mean, a couple of guys have snuck in a couple of Grand Slams, but 44 of the last 49 Grand Slams have been won by either Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, or Andy Murray. I mean, it's insane, and it still is probably going to happen this year, but not by Rafael Nadal. All right, so you've had some interesting things happen here in the world of Wimbledon, right? I mean, you had Bernard Tomic, one of 2 players to actually get fined. He got fined by playing at Wimbledon because, now, listen, in tennis, if you're not that familiar with tennis players do what's called tanking. We've talked about it with the Jets and the Knicks and other teams. Tanking's real, not just through seasons or games, but through tennis matches. And some guys don't tank the entire match. They'll tank just part of a set. So generally, players will hold serve. They'll serve and they'll win the games that they're serving. When you break someone's serve and you win the entire game on their serve, it's a huge advantage. And sometimes when your serve gets broken twice and you're down 4-love, 5-1, 5-2, you tank the rest of the set. You set up the set so that you can be the first person serving in the next set, which gives you an advantage in tennis when it gets to the tiebreaker or it gets to different situations later on in the set. Everybody who knows anything about tennis knows this is a real thing, but as a player, you can't come out and say that you're tanking or you're not going to win on purpose. And that is exactly what Bernard Tomic, I'm going to call him Einstein from now on. That's what he did. What, you don't believe me? All right, fine. Just listen.
Wasn't mentally and physically there with my mental state to perform, and I don't know why, but I felt a little bit bored out there. So, to be completely honest with you, so I tried at the end and stuff. He managed to win that set 6-3 or 6-4, but it was too late.
It just wasn't there mentally, physically. Yeah, that's called tanking. You threw in the towel, and you said, I didn't really try. I was bored. Guy said he was bored. Yeah, okay, I get bored sometimes, but I don't just drive off the side of the road because I don't feel like driving anymore. I don't just, stop doing homework because I'm bored in class. You're getting paid to try to win the tennis matches. And the interviewer on that audio clip, they actually asked him, so since you weren't even really trying and you were so bored, why don't you give your prize money back? And he says, well, if Roger Federer will give it back, then I'll give it back too. Yeah, good point. You got a bunch of legs to stand on. Okay, so Bernard Tomic is not, taking engines apart and putting them back together clearly. He's not doing brain surgery on you or your loved ones. But he is getting fined $15,000 by Wimbledon. And he, like I said, he's only the second person to get fined by Wimbledon this season. And I'm going to mention that guy just coming up in a couple of minutes. The second guy to be fined by Wimbledon. Real quick, we're going to touch on soccer. Wait, what? Yes, we're going to talk about soccer. Or, as most people would call it, football. Right? So the CONCACAF, championship, if you will, the Gold Cup of soccer is being played. It's in the group stage at the moment. Teams like the United States, Mexico, they're all playing, and this is the first step of many steps for these teams to qualify for the World Cup in 2018, which will be played in the mother home of Russia, the home of borscht. I love me some borscht, by the way. Bring me some borscht, somebody. Thank you. All right. But anyway, the Mexico team is actually in first place in the CONCACAF standing right now. And the top 3 teams will advance, and they will be officially invited to the World Cup in 2018. So currently in first place with 14 points, Mexico. Second place, Costa Rica with 11 points. And third place, nearly ahead of fourth place, is the United States with 8 points. Now, the United States had a disappointing match in their last match. They are a better soccer team than Panama. But they finished in a 1-1 tie. Still get some points for the tie, but it's not the result that they were looking for. Mexico, on the other hand, played last night, and they handled El Salvador pretty easily, winning 3-1. Now, you can watch Mexico's next match this coming Thursday evening, July the 13th at 10:30 at night. So you can check them out. Mexico, very, very, very talented team. Expect them to win, this division of CONCACAF. The United States, though, expect them to bounce back. They will. They're not an amazing team. We're not a powerhouse in soccer. But they play Wednesday night, July the 12th at 9 p.m. So you can check that out, right? That's all I got on soccer. I mean, for all you soccer fans, I hope you're impressed and appreciate what I just did to bring you some soccer to the program. But like I said, a second player got fined at Wimbledon. I mean, it's got to be hard to get fined by Wimbledon, right? And it's one of the many blunders that we've seen so far in the recent history. So, oh, that's right. Dave's going to go on a rant. Dave Talks Sports, Dave Ettinger, I'm finishing the show with a rant, right? And I'm gonna let her rip, right? I'm not gonna hold back. You don't like it? No, you'll like it. It's a lot of fun. All right, so this is what we're gonna call the premiere debut of What's Bothering Dave. Oh, that's right. What's Bothering Dave? This is the new edition, the first edition of What's Bothering Dave. All right, first, Home Run Derby. I've already mentioned it. Why is it on Monday? I know you want to grab all the ratings, but give me a break. I can't keep my eyes open past 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to be sound asleep while Giancarlo Stanton goes down to Aaron Judge in the finals, and I want to watch it. I want to watch it, so put it on a Saturday night at a reasonable time when I can watch the Home Run Derby. Don't put it on when all the, 19, 20-somethings can stay up all night because they're drinking beers and they don't got to go to work tomorrow. I have to go to work tomorrow at 4 a.m., so stop putting the Home Run Derby on at 8 o'clock at night on a weeknight. Some of us have to go to work at 4:30 in the morning. Same with the All-Star game, all right? I don't want to stay up until midnight watching the All-Star game. It's nice. It's fun. It's a spectacle. It's fun. But who can keep their eyes open and who's watching TV on a Tuesday night? Not me. Not me. The Knicks, you know how I feel about the Knicks, but come on. Who wants to play here? How is it possible that James Dolan hasn't been dragged outside and somebody just stomped him out and said, sell the team? We're on, old school mafia style. Someone paid a mafia off. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. I know he's not selling the team because, multimillionaires, they like money, and I'm not trying to put a hit out on James Dolan. So anyone listening, don't take that the wrong way. But the Knicks are driving me crazy. When Phil Jackson got here, the picture was really, really, really bad. It was really ugly. It was like when I used to draw pictures when I was 6 years old. Mom used to put them up on the on the fridge. But come on, that's not a fruit bowl. It's not a fruit bowl. It's like it looks like it's growing horns out the side of the fruit bowl. I can't draw. You've made the picture uglier and worse for us, Phil Jackson. And now Steve Mills and James Dolan, you're going to continue to make the picture uglier and uglier and uglier. So the Knicks, I'm this close. I'm this close to jumping off the... Sorry if I'm screaming in your ears. I'm pissed off. I'm this close to jumping off the freaking ledge with the Knicks, and I'm about to switch teams. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm switching teams soon. I told you, another player got fined. But how do you get fined by Wimbledon? How do you get fined by Wimbledon? It's the gentleman's club. You got to wear all white. It's all proper. Just show up, hit the little round yellow ball around. Try to win. You get paid when you lose. I mean, what are you so pissed off about? Daniil Medvedev. We talked about him the other day. He upset Stan Wawrinka in the first round of Wimbledon. You should be jumping for joy. So you lost your second round match. Okay, it was a tough match. But you're going to blame the chair umpire for why you lost? Maybe you suck. You ever think about that? Maybe you suck, and that's the reason why you didn't make it to the third round. Don't, when the match is over, go to your wallet and start chucking coins at the chair umpire. Come on, get out of here. Get the Neil Medvedev out of my face. Next, you're a little guy. Manny Pacquiao, you're a little dude. You used to pack a punch when you were juicing, when you were on the steroids. But hey, another news flash here. You don't got it anymore. You're 38 years old. If my grandma jumped in the ring with you, she's knocking you down. That's why you lost your belt to Jeff the Hornet Horn, Joe Horn, whatever his name is. I'm so pissed off. I'm forgetting names. But here's the thing that really pisses me off. He's Jeff the Hornet Horn, by the way. Manny Pacquiao is okay and publicly supporting the WBO, the belt he used to hold. They're going to rescore the bout. But it's not going to affect the actual result of the match. What? So why do it? So don't rescore it. Why? So you can point fingers at yourself of how the judges that you have just screwed up so royally that you need to now say, look, we know how to score a fight, even though we weren't there sitting ringside. But it doesn't change hands for the belt. The belt doesn't change hands back to Manny Pacquiao. It doesn't. So don't do it. Just leave the scoring alone. He got robbed. Boxing's corrupt. Stop pissing me off. I'm running out of breath here. Gordon Hayward. Okay, I know. The elephant in the room. It's Gordon Hayward. Why? Because people in this country, in this world, and I don't condone it, they somehow think it's okay because all I'm hearing lately is, oh, yay, another white guy in Boston. He's going to be the next. It doesn't matter what color he is. Black, white, brown, purple, yellow, green. We're all the same. We're all the same, everybody. Gordon Hayward is a great basketball player, no matter the color of his skin. Okay? Joe Torre, you should be listening. Stop discriminating against Angel Hernandez, the Hispanic MLB referee umpire who hasn't been promoted to head crew chief in the 26 years he's been around. I'm not saying you're racist. It's just not a good look. Okay? So stop talking about Gordon Hayward, everybody. He's just a great basketball player. I don't care what color his skin is. All right? Same with basketball. We're sticking with basketball because I'm still pissed off. I'm only halfway through the list. Stay tuned. I hope your ears aren't bleeding yet. But I still got some air left in these lungs, so I'm going to keep screaming. Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert, you cheap SOB. You're a billionaire. You're a billionaire, and you can't even offer Chauncey Billups the right amount of money. New general managers make $4+ million per year to become a general manager, not the 1.5 that you offered him. So stop lowballing people and driving guys like LeBron James out of town because he just brought you a championship. Say thank you, and I'll say you're welcome. Another Einstein in the world. A lot of dumb, I'm just going to say, I'm calling it like it is. A lot of dumb people running around. Dallas Cowboys linebacker. Nothing like saying, Happy July 4th, everybody. Like brandishing a shotgun in a lady's face. Yeah, no. Damian Wilson, Cowboys linebacker, thought it was a good idea to back his car into some woman's car, and instead of getting out and saying, "Oh my God, miss, I'm so sorry. Take my insurance information and I'll make it right because I'm a professional athlete and I can afford this." No, he said, "Let me brandish a shotgun in her face and get arrested." Yeah, nice, real nice. More Einsteins in the world? The Tennessee Titans. Yeah, we're talking football, sorta. Tennessee Titans almost burned down their stadium with fireworks on July 4th. Newsflash. I know, I got a lot of news flashes. Not newsflash, warning. Here's a warning, not from the Surgeon General, but from Dave Ettinger and DaveTalksSports. Stop lighting fireworks. You're either going to blow your hand off like JPP, or you're going to potentially burn the house down or burn the whole stadium down. Where are you going to play? In my backyard? We used to play snow football in my backyard. It was a lot of fun, but I don't think the Tennessee Titans fit in my backyard. All right. Yes, I'm jumping back to the Knicks one last time, then I'm going to let you guys go, and you're gonna enjoy the home run derby. It's my last piece for the evening. The New York Knicks still need a point guard. They can still go over the soft salary cap of $99 million, jump up to 119, and there's somehow still rumors floating around that they're going to bring in Rajon Rondo. Yeah, okay, he's a nice player. He can give you 10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. He's kind of a walking triple-double from the point guard position, but they're not talking about him like that. They're not saying bring in the walking triple-double Rajon Rondo. No. They're saying bring in Rajon Rondo as a mentor. Bring in Rajon Rondo as a mentor to Frank Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina's probably figured out how he can get his way back to Paris, France, wherever he's from in France. He's probably trying to figure out how did I get drafted by the Knicks? Anybody but the Knicks. Bringing in Rajon Rondo to be a mentor? I mean, that's like asking Tiger Woods for marriage advice. I mean, come on, man. This is not smart. And this is the Knicks. This is the team I'm supposed to be rooting for. I just don't know how I can root for the Knicks anymore. All right, I'm running out of breath here. So that, of course, was the first edition of What's Bothering Dave? I know you liked it because I'm out of I'm out of breath now. But everybody, I want to thank you for listening. This is July 10th, 7:24 in the PM. This has been another edition of Dave Talk Sports. I'm Dave Ettinger. This is Old Westbury Web Radio. You can find them, of course, at OWWRNY on Twitter, on their website, owwrny.org. You can call me every week, 516-876-4964. I'll put you on. We'll talk. I'll probably hang up on you, but I'll let you talk a lot longer than the big shots that are on ESPN and WFAN. I'm going to let you get out all your emotions into the show. So thank you for listening, everybody. This has been another edition of Dave Talk Sports. Of course, I'm Dave Ettinger. You can find me next week, 6:30 p.m., of course, the only place to be, on OWWR, every Monday night at 6:30 to 7:30. I'm Dave Talk Sports. Enjoy the home run derby, everybody. Let's go, Aaron Judge.
Are you interested in reporting or writing the news? Then come on down to the news department at the Old Westbury Web radio station. We report SUNY, local, state, national, international, business, entertainment, sports, and weather for the daily news broadcasts at 6 to 6:10 p.m. For more information, please come down to room 329A in the Student Union or contact Radio News at oldwestbury.edu.